In this episode, we'll be looking at Zac. The original video came out on April 28th, 2021, so over 2 years ago. I originally gave him an S- rating, which is quite high, but does he still deserve it? Before we answer that question, let's talk about what's changed. In terms of champion-specific developments, there hasn't been anything too crazy. In fact, there are actually so few changes to see compared to some of the problem champions in League, which are usually the newer ones. They did reduce his AP ratios a little, which doesn't matter too much, but they did reduce his Q cooldown a little and increase the max HP damage on it, which is quite nice for support Zac. I just realized that Evan Shroud didn't exist back then, and I was forced to build Locket on Zac, but my god, Evan Shroud is such a broken item on Zac because he just has so much CC in his kit, and the damage increase he can provide with this item is super duper impactful and a great addition to Zac's support. They also made the Glacial Augment rune work on CC, which again is nice for Zac with all of his CC, and a very decent option if you think you want that extra slow in the game instead of the tankiness from Aftershock. Honestly, for me, Zac is a bit tricky to rate, because I'd either want to place him at the very top of S- or the very bottom of S. If your team wants to do things early, then I think he can really excel, as his roams are just ridiculous with how long range his E is, and his team fighting later on is also very strong, as he provides so much AoE CC and potential engagement. His biggest weakness comes from his fairly weak laning phase in the support role, as he could get bullied by some other supports and lead to him falling behind early. But if the enemies don't capitalize on that advantage, then I think Zac has enough utility all around to place him in that low S tier for being one of the best engaged champions in the entire game, but there might be some games where your team just doesn't want to fight together, and then you'll be free gold for the enemies to collect as you jump in. Now, the community rated Zac as a 4.01, which is actually the second highest so far, and it makes sense. People would usually rather play with an engaged style support that will actually have some kind of impact on the game than a more AFK one, and Zac, while he has his weaknesses, does indeed have a ton of potential to make plays, which people love to have on their team. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, I hope you leave it a like, and the next champion we'll be covering is Veigar, so make sure to subscribe if you'd be interested in seeing that. And I want to wish you good luck on your off-meta adventures.